Good morning, everyone. We wanted to have coffee with you this morning and talk to you about Guardians of the Wolves and who we are and what we do and talk about wolves and wolf dogs. But we're going to start with Rosemary getting some pool time. So we just got back from a 3-mile hike, actually in the woods, and it is a bit humid, so we're going to fill up her pool. So Rosie, you want to play in the water for your fans? So this is Rosemary, for everyone that's new to our TikTok channel. We are Guardians of the Wolves. My name is Lori. I'm the CEO and founder. We are a non-profit organization. We are committed to wolf conservation, education, preservation, rescue, wolf dog education, rescue, really a big passion about responsible wolf dog ownership and keeping these guys safe. So we start our day with a 3-mile hike, and it's very humid today, so I thought Rosemary could have some pool time. So she's doing a little bit of zoomies. We're going to talk to you kind of about our mission, some pet peeves that we have. Where'd you go, girl? And we definitely want to hear some questions. So thank you for joining. Figured it's a good time to have coffee with us. So we got some zoomies going on. You doing your zooms, Rose? You doing your morning zooms? So Rosemary's just playing after her walk. We're getting her cooled down a little bit because it is warm out. Thank you. I think she's beautiful too. I'm very blessed to have her. So I'm going to start again with who we are, since we just have new people joining. We are Guardians of the Wolves. We are a nonprofit organization committed to wolf conservation, education, advocacy, preservation. I am a Keystone speaker. I travel and speak to save the wolves and relist wolves and talk about how important they are to the ecosystem. I work with ranchers to dispel the myth of the big bad wolf and teach them how to protect their livestock. As we all know, their livestock is just as important as our wolves are. We're also big into wolf dog education, helping people become a responsible wolf dog owner. We rescue wolf dogs, a lot of wolf dogs. Right now, my team is working on 13 different rescues. They're all from different places, different states. It is challenging for us because we do not have a facility. So we have to vet and find homes. Most sanctuaries are full. So right now, if you guys are on Instagram or Facebook or our website, guardiansofthewolves.org, and also YouTube, we have a GoFundMe going. We are trying to do a land acquisition so that we have a place to call home, and it's called Project Wolf Tracks. And it's a place that's going to be for foster care for rescues that need immediate help to avoid euthanization, where we can rehab and rehome them. What you doing over there, Rosie? And we also are going to be doing conservation programs there. Actually, live webcams where you can see the animals. And we're going to be doing therapy programs. We already do that. But we travel to do that. We work with veterans with post-traumatic stress syndrome. We work with women of domestic violence. We work with at-risk youth. We work with adults with disabilities. Grief counseling, that's really a specialty. Wolves are known to be very therapeutic animals. They provide a lot of therapy. So instead of traveling to all these places to do all these kinds of programs, we want a place to call our own, that you can come and you can hang out in the teepee, you can hang out with the animals, you can get the therapy, you can learn, you can adopt our rescues, just the whole thing. And so that's our main goal right now, and it's completing the mission of Guardians of the Wolves that I founded 7 years ago. It's called Project Wolf Tracks, by Guardians of the Wolves. There's a video about it on my TikTok. There's a video about it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So if you want to know more about Project Wolf Tracks, we also have a GoFundMe. So we're trying to raise money right now. So we humbly accepted a $25,000 grant, which is giving us a really great head start. Something awesome when we did the interview for the grant. It was awesome. We didn't even have to write the grant. What are you doing, crazy girl? What are you doing over there? What are you doing? Oh, you are so muddy. She's found something to dig. She's not much of a digger, so this is kind of unusual for her. Her holes are usually the size of her nose. So when we did the interview for the grant from an amazing foundation, we were asked who our favorite sanctuary is. And we said Apex Protection Project. I'm sure you guys follow them. They're based in northern Los Angeles, California. Steve and Paula have been personal friends of mine for about 14 years. We started together at another sanctuary 15 years ago. And so one of my board members and myself during the grant interview, we both said Apex Protection Project. So this amazing foundation gave them the same amount of grant they gave us, which was $25,000. And I can't think of a more deserving organization than Apex. Apex does a lot of the same work that we do. They do presentations, school presentations. They have events, sound baths, tours, potlucks, all of that. But they have their own place to call home, and they're able to keep animals there, rescues. So they have a sanctuary, which is something that we are trying to obtain with Project Wolf Tracks. You're going there in September and can't wait to see them. Oh, Apex Angels, thank you for chiming in. Apex, Steve and Paula are fantastic, and I'm so happy you're going to go meet them. And now that Apex Angels is on here, I want to give them a huge shout out. We've been working on a rescue in Michigan, and Michigan is an illegal state. And this has taken a village with permitting for Apex Angels and Warriors, and them having to build the enclosure, and permits with Michigan to get this wolf dog out, and health certificate and vaccine records and everything to match up and everything. And it really has taken a village. So Apex Angels and Warriors, thank you, because that is where this amazing animal is going to go tomorrow. So a big shout out to them and all the work they're doing. They work with veterans with PTSD as well as rescuing. And something great about rescuing these animals, veterans and these animals that are coming from bad situations can relate to one another. So it's a really great healing for both man and wolf. We can't wait for him to get there. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And he'll be there tomorrow. And I'm going to give you guys a big shout out on social medias tomorrow when I make a post about him. And I'm going to teach about all the work that went into getting Manny in Michigan out of Michigan legally. Because it's not just pick up a dog and transfer him, in a car to another state. There's a lot behind the scenes to do this kind of work. And Apex, hey, what you doing, crazy pants? Apex Angels and Warriors have done a lot of work on their end to accept Manny. And my vice president, he has done a lot of work on the Michigan end to get the permits. And the owner has done a lot of work to get all the paperwork together. And I've done a lot of work coordinating it, and so has my rescue director, Mackenzie. So it does take a village to do things right. So big shout out again to Apex Angels and Warriors. You guys are amazing, doing amazing things. And if there's anything we can help you guys with in the future, please ask us, because you are heroes. You are heroes. Hi, Laura. Nice to see you here on this Sunday morning. Hope everybody is enjoying a cup of coffee. I think I lost Rosemary. So I want to talk more about Project Wolf Tracks because we need your help for this land acquisition so that we can bring animals to our facility and get them out of immediate danger. Like we have one in a shelter right now in North Carolina in an illegal place, and it was facing euthanization. So gratefully, we have found placement, and the shelter is working with us. We have a hold on the animal so that it is not euthanized, and the shelter is actually going to neuter him for us. And we have a wonderful home in Tennessee he's going to go to. But if we had our own facility, we could immediately get a transport. You want to play in the water some more? Yeah. We could get an immediate transport and get him to our facility until we were able to find permanent placement. So there's a lot of behind the scenes with rescue. So it's really important for us to get a land acquisition because we have really important work to do. And if you go to our website, www.guardiansofthewolves.org, under our mission, it talks a lot about the work we do. There's some great videos that we have. So we have been around 7 years. We have been a nonprofit organization. Prior to that, I was on the board of directors for a large sanctuary in California called Wolf Connection. I was one of the founding board members and got to do a lot of great things with them, including be their project manager to build the site they're at now and all the legal paperwork that had to do with that, including a conditional use permit. So I'm a land use consultant also. So what I want to thank you, Laura. Thank you so much, and thank you for being an awesome supporter of Guardians of the Wolves. Like, we appreciate you. So Rosemary here is an ambassador. She is just over 2 years old, so she has been in training as an ambassador since I got her at 5 weeks old. And she is continuing the legacy of Ambassador Sage. She was my wolf dog before Rosemary. You want some water, babe? And she passed away a few months before Rosemary was born at the age of 15. And she did some amazing work. She did all the therapy programs that I mentioned. We worked with Wounded Warriors. We worked with school districts. We went to expos. We went to hospice and hospitals and children's hospitals and schools. She did it all. She was an amazing ambassador. She also did some movies. She was in Lana Del Rey's video, Chemtrails Over the Country Club. If you ever wonder who the wolf or wolf dog is in it, it's Ambassador Sage, and she is the reason that Guardians of the Wolves exist. Guardians of the Wolves is a heart project. You're so silly, Rose. And so Rosemary is continuing the great legacy of Ambassador Sage. She is thirsty, Kendra. We just got back from almost a 3-mile hike in the woods. Kelly, she is what you call a high content wolf dog. And we'll talk about content real quick. So any dog, any canine that has 85% or more wolf DNA in it is considered a high content. Rosemary is, what you doing? No, don't eat my cords, girl. Rosemary has been DNA'd, and she is 95 plus wolf, gray wolf. Now, I happen to know her lineage and who her parents are, and I know her lineage. It goes back 4 generations. So if you guys know, I'm sure you all follow Lion Dad. He's a great creator on TikTok and Instagram, and he has an amazing animal there called Ezekiel. He goes by Zeke. Zeke is Rosemary's uncle. Rosemary's mama and Ezekiel were litter mates. So I'm very grateful to know what her lineage is and everything. So Rosemary is part Arctic wolf. Now, no DNA testing will show any subspecies. Tundra, British Columbian, Arctic, it will always come up gray wolf. The rest is just a subspecies. That, by the way, is Rosemary's overgrown crate, where she is only in at night when she sleeps, and that is for her safety. And the only reason is because we've had bears come up to the fence. So she is, to answer your question, Kelly, thank you about saying she's beautiful. But to answer your question, she is a ultra high content wolf dog with a low FGen, meaning she is not far removed from a pure wolf. She is the type of wolf dog that is not multi-generational bred, and she's got about as much wolf that you can own without having to have a special permit. So you really won't find many wolf dogs out there with as much wolf and low FGen as her, unless, of course, they're her relatives. So I want to talk about breeding real quick. There is an epidemic in this country. There are only a handful of ethical breeders in the United States of America, and the breeding is out of freaking control. So my vice president, Wolf Dogs of Indiana, is one of the very few ethical breeders out there. He will not just throw two dogs together. Once he has paired these animals, oh my goodness, they are mated and paired for life. He does not overbreed. Something very important he does is make sure that there's no inbreeding in the animals that he does breed. You can find out, hey, you're all wet, crazy pants. Through Embark, you can run you can run an Embark DNA test, and it will show the COI. And COI score is if there's been inbreeding in the line. All of his animals, the COI is in the single digits. So that means maybe some generations ago there was a line breeding or something, but no inbreeding. And one of the problems right now, Rosie, stop, is a lot of people are breeding high COIs. 35, 37, 40% COI. And what we're seeing is serious neurological problems, young deaths, deformities, overbite. These are all deformities to do with inbreeding. No bones, like in the ankles, where they're like pigeon-toed, kind of. She would love to snuggle. Yes, she gets along with all dogs. We just ran into two little dogs on our hike, and she just wants to play. Yesterday she was at PetSmart. She is as sweet as can be with other dogs, and she will be getting a companion in next spring, a puppy. I don't breed. She is spayed. So yes, she does eat meat. I'll tell you her diet right now. So we get up really early, and she starts her morning with raw chicken with bone. She likes chicken thighs. She's not into chicken quarters like most of these animals are. She's very petite, like the way she eats. She takes small bites. So she likes her chicken thighs. She gets some, and this is all raw, and raw bone is safe. It's good for their teeth. It's good for them to have raw bone. She gets it sprinkled with raw marrow. You gonna kick back for your TikTok, Rosie? Let me shut off the water real quick. She gets it sprinkled with raw beef marrow, and I usually throw in some chicken paws, also raw, sometimes frozen. And once in a while, she'll get a whole raw egg, which she loves to crack with her paw and then lick it out of the shell. At night, her dinner, and this is her choice because we have literally tried all kinds of foods. She likes the farmer's dog, the turkey recipe. So she gets a special blend the farmer's dog is like HelloFresh for dogs. And it is absolutely human grade. So if like we ever had a problem getting food, I could eat her food. And it's a balanced meal of the turkey and vegetables. Yeah, that's a weird sound, huh, Rosie? almost like aliens are coming, huh? Um, so that's what her meals are. She gets treats and snacks in between anytime she wants. Right now it's hot, so we're doing a lot of frozen things, goat whip, popsicles. She loves beef tendons, raw. Her favorite treat happens to be honey dipped buffalo jerky. Um, my Rosie, she's a Maltese, thinks she's a wolf. I have a tattoo of a wolf that is for her. Oh, you have a Rosie too, Trisha. That's awesome. I would love to get a tattoo of Sage's paws on my collarbone. Um, so that's awesome. And I call Rosemary Rosie a lot. So it is one of her nicknames. So that's her diet. She also gets like beef on bone as treats. We get a lot of times people will donate to us cow parts. And so she'll get like beef knuckles and just different parts of the cow raw with some meat on the bone. So that's Rosemary's diet. Um, she's a really good girl. So I want to talk more about this breeding epidemic. So I'm going to talk about some red flags. So first off, there's a lot of people, newer people in the wolf dog community, and they have large accounts, so you might be following them. And they've only been around a few years, and they educate that basically no one can have a high content wolf dog. And this is coming from people or person that has a high content wolf dog that's maybe a month older than Rosemary, not quite as high content, but falls definitely in the high content range. And they're educating that basically you can't own these dogs. Like, they're special and they're the only ones that can. So I want to say that wolf dog ownership of significant content, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. I don't consider them pets. I consider them companions. Rosemary is my fourth upper content wolf dog in the last 22 years. They're not for everybody because just like I really don't want to have a poodle. Okay. So a poodle is not for everybody. Wolf dogs take a little bit more work because they are a companion. They're not a pet. They can be, but it's technically off label. A lady got fined for bringing a raccoon into PetSmart. Wolves can't. Rabies vaccines. Go to store. Okay, let's talk about the rabies vaccine real quick. So, the rabies vaccine is not approved for any animal with wolf DNA in it. However, you vaccinate for rabies. We all do. And it works. So, you can run a titers test at 6 months after a rabies vaccine, a year after a rabies vaccine, 2 years after, and it's going to show that that animal is indeed holding the rabies antibodies. Wolf dogs, as long as they're well behaved, they can go in any stores that dogs can go into. So there's no law that they can't go in stores because of the rabies vaccine. The only law to do with the rabies vaccine is they cannot be legitimate service dogs. Now, if you contact the ADA, American Disabilities Act, they will tell you there are no breed restrictions. Okay, and so this is very confusing because some people will think because there's no breed restrictions that no, I don't sell. I'm not a breeder. I rescue. So Rosemary is fixed. But I want to go back to the service dog thing. So because there's no breed restrictions on being a service dog, it can be really confusing. But in the fine print, it says that they have to be current on all vaccines. Because the rabies vaccine is not approved for them, technically for the ADA, they're not current on all vaccines. So they cannot be service dogs. However, they can be legit emotional support animals if they really are a therapy animal. You can get a letter from a psychiatrist. Sage legitimately was an emotional support animal. Legit. She flew in the main cabin in a plane with me across the United States. She went everywhere with me. She went to work with me. She went to malls. She went everywhere with me. And she was legit a therapy animal. These animals have it in their nature to provide therapy, which is really amazing. Can she sit on the table? Yeah. So someone asked me about the table also yesterday, and it is 3/4 inch safety glass. It's tempered, so it's very safe for her, and it happens to be one of her favorite places to be is on this table. Um, she likes wolf dogs. They like to be up high. So I have an office in the home, and outside my office window, she has a platform. Whenever I'm in the office, she likes to lay on the platform or sit on the platform. And when I'm out right here, she likes to lay on the table, and she likes to nap on the table. So it's definitely, please can her see it. Um, Psychiatrists are loony themselves. Yes, this is true. um, so hotels, you're right. That's a good question. So you just have to find a dog friendly hotel. I found La Quinta, which is in most of the country. They're dog friendly. We've stayed at a lot of hotels with these animals. The Wyndham, which is I think by Marriott. I've stayed at Hard Rock Cafe Hotel with one of my animals. So also it's kind of how your animal behaves. And if you walk in there with a well-behaved animal, they're not going to turn you down. Hello, Ohio from Virginia. Thank you for tuning in. On back to that hotel thing, grab a treat and have her sit. Well, she's just had breakfast and she's had a walk and a swim, and I think she's going to want to kind of relax, but we might be able to get her to howl. So there was a question about the service dog thing. So legally, no, Lynchburg, Virginia. Hey, we're just a few hours north of you in Northern Virginia. My daughter has a house fire and Marriott Hotel let her dog live there for 2 months. That's awesome. Marriott is really good with that. We have stayed in many Marriotts in this country. Good morning, Florida from Northern Virginia. Thank you for joining us. So, real quick to answer the question. Hey, Lynchburg girl, what's up, y'all? Northern Virginia up here. And so since you're in Lynchburg, I want to talk to you about something real quick, but let me just finish about the service dog thing. Legally, no one can ask you what the task is your service dog can do. It's against the law. It's a HIPAA violation. Good morning, Seattle. Hey, Fairfax, Virginia. We're coming to Fairfax. That's where we're moving to. We're in Loudon right now. Hello, Missouri. Roanoke, hello. I love all these people from Virginia here. Good morning from Maine. Good morning. Okay, Lynchburg. I got some exciting news for everybody in Lynchburg, Virginia. So if you've been following us, you've seen that this year we went to Alaska and we did a rescue with United States Fish and Wildlife Service, where a wild male wolf in a tiny little village of Sadovia, which is off of Homer, and you can only get there from boat. A wild male wolf mated with a domestic dog. And wolf dogs are illegal in Alaska. And so we worked in partnership with the Alaska State Troopers and United States Fish and Wildlife Service. And our team went to Alaska and we brought back what are true hybrids, one parent being a pure wolf. Well, one of them is in Lynchburg, Virginia. And his name is Blue. And he's like a ready to go ambassador. He is owned by someone named Tim down there who owns like 5 other wolf dogs, and he is in Lynchburg, Virginia. So it would be awesome to connect you guys and you could meet Blue and meet a true hybrid that, and this is a pairing that you don't run into very often. We had no idea what to expect with these. We brought back home 4 of them. And, we have never seen a cross between a wild wolf and a domestic dog. These animals are angels. They are beautiful. They are loving. They are sweet. They are well behaved. They are amazing. So Blue is right here in Lynchburg, Virginia. And him and Rosemary, I'm sorry, I have a question mark. So I didn't see your question. Um, a woo crew, good morning. And Fraser the Wolf Dog, good morning. And Blue's temperament is unreal. So, I think there is something on your table. I think you're right. It's Rosemary the Great. Um, Rosemary turned 2 on April 30th, so that's how old she is. You're getting a blue bay. That's awesome. My fiance has a blue bay, and he actually came down and visited Rosemary for a little while, and she got to spend a few days with him. So everyone that has mentioned blue, Tennessee, hello Tennessee from Virginia. Thank you about Rosemary being stunning. So everyone who's followed the Alaska Six, you guys know about blue, and I'll be honest with you, I wanted to take blue. And the only reason I didn't was Loudoun County, Virginia, proposed a ban against wolf hybrids and wolf dogs. And I spoke at the county supervisors meeting December, January, February, and March. This is a county that had no legislation on wolf dog or hybrid ownership, and they have never had an issue, a call, or anything to do with a wolf dog or a hybrid. But they put him on a venomous animal ban with alligators and venomous snakes. And I spoke 4 months in a row, and the night before the vote, and the vote was March 7th. March 6th, Lady Chair called me up to tell me that I have been compelling and have brought some great information and scientific data. I mean, these are not venomous animals. They get all the same care a regular doggy dog gets. So it's a big government overreach. But unfortunately, we lost, and they got put on this venomous animal ban. So Rosemary is grandfathered in. They have come out and done an inspection and said I'm a fantastic owner, but she's on a registry, and it prevents me from getting another one. So we are out of here. We are leaving Loudoun County by the end of this year, and we are moving to Fairfax County, where we are welcomed. And Rosemary will get her companion. And hello from Michigan. Very beautiful. Can't wait to have my own one day. Hello, Michigan from Virginia. Unfortunately, Michigan is an illegal state. And hopefully one day it will be legal. Used to live in Leesburg. We're about 15 minutes from Leesburg. That's where I actually went and spoke for the County Board of Supervisors meetings. It's a beautiful area up here. If you've heard it said, she does get inspections, and she's okay for now. Not sure what you guys are talking about. Good morning, Tennessee. I think you guys are having a conversation amongst yourselves that I don't know from. They are legal in West Virginia. And I will tell you, West Virginia is one of the homes of backyard breeding. And so let's talk about responsible breeding, because we have a serious problem of irresponsible breeding. Texas would be too hot. There are a lot of private owners in Texas. Part of many places in Florida are legal. Some of them have percentage caps. Ohio, most of Ohio is legal. Who cares if it's legal? What does that mean today? Okay, it's very important. If you have a wolf dog in an illegal state and it gets confiscated, it's most likely going to be euthanized unless an organization like mine can put an emergency hold on this animal and get up there immediately and get that animal legally out of the state. So bringing a wolf dog to an illegal state is completely irresponsible. And those are the kinds of things that will have these animals banned on a national level. So please be responsible and don't take or try to purchase these animals and bring them into an illegal state. On our Instagram and on our website under frequently asked questions, we have a map of what states are legal and what states are illegal. So thank you, everybody that's saying don't be irresponsible. Indiana is a legal state. I think you can have 99% wolf. Rosemary is actually from Indiana. That's where my vice president is, and he's one of the handful of responsible breeders in this country. So I want to talk about irresponsible breeders. Good morning, sweet blue eyes. So what we see right now is a lot of people inbreeding. They see how much money can be made with these animals. Out west, Rosemary could go for $5,000 to $10,000. Okay, as a pup. There's a lot of money that can be made with these animals. So a lot of people are seeing it as a cash cow. They're breeding 1-year-olds. These guys are babies at 1 year old. That's like you letting your daughter that's 12 have a child. There's no difference. I mean, there's difference, obviously, a human versus a canine. But these animals, ethical breeding, you should wait until they're 3 years old. Not let them breed at 1. They're babies. Rosemary's 2. She's still a baby. Tennessee is a legal state, but not all counties. Very good. So, real quick, yes, babies don't need babies. Thank you. It's like Teen Mom or something. So I want to say, on a national level, Arizona is the only state that has no restrictions at all of content, counties, or anywhere. So if you're interested in a state, first, you can go on our website under frequently asked questions. You can see our map. It's color coded and it will show you what states are illegal and they're marked in red. So just don't even bother. But the states that are yellow, that means they are legal, but there are some illegal areas in there. So I'm going to just use California as an example because I'm from California. So California is a yellow state. There are some restrictions on a state level. You cannot have an F1 in California, meaning it cannot be first generation from a pure wolf. So you can't, so those hybrids that we rescued in Alaska, we could not send any to California. They would have been illegal there. Now, most of the counties in California are legal, but there are some illegal counties in California. So say you're planning to move to California. Call animal control for the county that you're thinking about moving to before making that purchase or signing that lease to make sure you're in a legal area. Because if you're not, I'm telling you, 90% of our rescues are because they are in illegal areas and they've been caught. We've done several in Rhode Island this year, Connecticut, because they're illegal. So what's the temp? New Hampshire is yellow, so that means that there are some restrictions in New Hampshire. The temp here right now is in the 80s, but it's kind of humid. So we got a good sweat on our hike this morning. We get up really early and hike, no matter what. When I lived in California, I used to watch for earthquakes. Now I watch the weather living in Virginia because it can change in minutes. So I really watch the radar and the weather so I know how early I need to get up and what time I can walk. Because her daily walks are super important. We get in the woods. We get into nature. She's great. Oh, look at that sweet puppy. Look at that sweet puppy. Yeah, she's a good girl. That's my Rosie. She's very loving. You have 2 German Shepherds and Huskies. Thinking about Callie. Callie's a great place. She is not a pure wolf. She is... No, do not eat the cord. She is mostly all wolf. She's not 100% though. Okay, so someone asked about my lean-ins. So I do this really inexpensively. Okay, if you're going to get nippy, we're not going to hang out. No, you can't do that, Rosie. Okay, so she wants to play, and she's upset that I'm on the phone. Stop it, Rosie. Here, I'll get your toy. So someone asked about my lean-ins. So these are really inexpensive to do. You want to play in the water again, Rosie? Come on. So at Home Depot, You can get 100-foot rolls of this fence material. Stop it. Don't do that. Of this fencing material. This one is 42 inches wide. It's like 40 something dollars. Rosemary, stop. Here, take your toy. I'm going to get the hose for you to play. Hold on, Rosie. Hold on, you guys. Rosie wants to play, and I only have one hand. Stop. We can play with the water. I'll play with the water, Rosie. Oh, I shut it off. So, 100-foot roll, 42 inches wide, less than $50 is what I use for the lean-ins and the dig guards. Let me turn the hose on for you, girl. So the dig guards, same material, and I have half of it on the ground, and then I curve it up, and the other half is on the fence, which you can see. So for the lean-ins, let me see if I can show you. I use EMT pipe. It's hard to see. There, you can see one. Every 10 feet to hold them up. You don't want them super tight, so if they do try to jump, they bounce off because they're not tight. And then the lean-in, the dig guards, they're attached with heavy-duty Carpenter staples. Napoleon High Content Wolf Dog. I'm not sure who Napoleon is. Okay, so ethical breeding. Let's go back to that for a second and find Rosemary. Definitely needs some coffee though. An ethical breeder, they're not going to have a high COI. They are going to mate them for life. They are not going to overbreed them. They will retire them, keep them together. They will not dump them. They will give them a good home for the rest of their life. They do not just throw animals together. They run what's called COR. You want to play in your pool, Rosie? To be able to tell what the relationship is, to see if they're related before pairing them. They will have stringent contracts. They will make you have this type of fencing and lean-ins and dig guards. That's all just responsible ownership. Right now I see breeders selling to people with no fencing in the yards. Animals are escaping. They're eating the neighbor's dogs, the neighbor's chickens, prey drives. These are mostly lower content, by the way. It seems that the lower the content, the more frequently they're in rescue. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. So I also want to tell you that we got a lot of breeders that are breeding 1-year-olds, breeding. Hey, what are you doing over there? I'm going to get you, Rose. 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 I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Rose. I'm going to get Rose. I'm getting you, Rose. I'm getting you, Rosie. They're also selling to like puppy mills because they're just trying to get a buck. Like they're in it for the money. And a good breeder is not making money. All the money. Hey, what are you doing to your dig guard? Hey, Rosie. What are you doing over there? I'm going to have to go check that out, Rosie. They're also selling to puppy mills. And if you're putting out 7-8 litters a year and you can't even find homes for all of them, and you're selling sick dogs with coccidia and Giardia, however the heck you say it, you're a backyard breeder. And we have an influx of that right now. And it's just a really bad situation. We also have sanctuaries that, are begging for money to feed rescues that are buying animals. Right now there's a huge undertaking going on to rescue a bunch from a sanctuary, but they buy animals, high contents. These breeders are selling to sanctuaries. We have one case where, a breeder sold to a sanctuary, a great breeder, but sold it privately, not to the sanctuary, for them to be ambassador animals. And the person robbed the breeder and never paid for the animals. Like, I mean, just some really unethical things going on. So a lot of people will say you cannot enforce a contract. First off, if your breeder doesn't make you sign a contract, that's a red flag all in its own. Okay. Contracts are 100% enforceable in any court of law. You just have to enforce it. I actually have a degree in contractual law, and it can be written on a sticky, a text message, a formal contract, a piece of toilet paper. Okay. It is, it will stand up in a court of law. Let's go find Rosie. So what it takes is, if there's a breach of contract, you have to go to court and you have to file. It's just that simple. Um, and a lot of people are too lazy to do that. They're just going to let it go and let this animal live a lousy life, or get robbed because the people haven't paid. What's she doing, Rosie? Come, let's go back in here in the shade. Or they're breeding and they shouldn't be breeding a 1-year-old. A good breeder will have say where, if they've given you breeding rights, where these animals go, because they protect and they care about their lions. Right now, it's, excuse my language, a shit show. There's just too many breeders. They're breeding very inbred animals. They're breeding 1-year-olds. They're selling to anywhere. They're puppy milling it, and we're seeing an influx in rescue. I mean, just this last week, my organization, just alone, working on 13 separate rescues. We're just one. There's 100 of us. So can you imagine by the week how many of these animals are ending up in rescue? It's crazy. So ethical breeding, we support. Unfortunately, there just isn't too many ethical breeders. What do I feed her? She starts off her morning with raw chicken. Come back, Rosie. With bone, fresh marrow, some chicken paw, and then she actually likes the farmer's dog for dinner, which is like HelloFresh for dogs. How much do they cost? So an animal like Rosemary, who is super high content with a low FGen, kind of depends where you live. I know on the west side of this country, they charge a lot more than on the east side. So out west, she would run between $5,000 and $7,500, and her breeder charges $3,500. He did sell breeding rights to a few people. That's an extra $3,500, but he has decided, because of all this puppy mill and backyard breeding, he will no longer be selling breeding rights. So, what happens when a squirrel gets in your yard? Well, and no, she is not a coyote. She's a wolf dog. So the lean-ins really help animals not get in the yard. But we had a squirrel come in about a month ago, and it was on this stump right here, and it was like stuck to the stump and running around, and she was like giving it a chance to get out of the yard, and this went on for like 15 minutes. I have it on video. It's pretty funny. And then it climbed up the fence. Like, she let it get to the fence, and it climbed out. And then she got it. She doesn't want to eat them. She wants to play with them. So as soon as she got it, she gave it to me. I went and got it from her. So I have no resource guarding whatsoever, because I hand feed from the day I get them till their last meal. But what happened was, after I got it from her, I tossed it over the fence right here. Well, my throw was lousy, and it bounced off the lean-in back into the yard. She caught it immediately. It was a game. There was no way I was getting the squirrel back from her. So she played with it until its squeaker stopped squeaking, and then laid with it. She literally laid with it. So she didn't want to eat it. She doesn't have prey drive. I've trained her out of prey drive since she was fully vaccinated and we started our daily hikes. She knows, not on the trail. They're your friends. We live in a place where there's raccoons and squirrels and beautiful red foxes and deer and birds, and she knows they're her friends, which was amazing to teach. Um, yeah, it was a crazy story, and I did get it all on video because it was kind of crazy. So, any more questions? Critters don't make it out of my yard. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't make it out of mine either. But what happens is I find her playing with them, not trying to eat them. Leaving me some landmines this morning, Rusty. We have to go pick up some poop. We do it several times a day, and this will alleviate flies. So we definitely don't want her ears or anything getting caught on getting bit by flies. Here's the stand, by the way, outside my office window. So when I'm in there working, she is on this stand watching me. So again, Project Wolf Tracks. Please go to our YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram. We have a GoFundMe up. It's in our Instagram story, the link to it, so that we can acquire our own place to call home and lay down our own tracks and have people come to us for education, conservation, therapy, and bring in rescues. Because that's the most challenging part with rescue right now. Because we don't have a facility, we have to network and find either a responsible home, and we have a very strict vetting process, or a sanctuary, and sanctuaries are full. So you know what? If everyone on here donated $1, we could get. I have like 147,000 followers. If everyone donated $1, we would be to our goal for the down payment, and I'll live there as a caretaker and pay the mortgage. So please check out Project Wolf Tracks. We have a great video about it, and we have a GoFundMe up. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, which I had started before, was how some people will say that will have a high content that no one can own them. So they are a lifestyle. Okay, you have to work your life around them. They're not going to work their life around you, but they can be your best friend and your companion for 15, 16 years. A lot of people that are newer, okay, into the wolf dog community will say you need to start with a low content and work your way up. I'm going to disagree with that 1,000,000%. There is no low content, and a low content means it has far more dog in it than it does wolf DNA. There is no low content that is going to get you ready for an animal like Rosemary. My first wolf dog 22 years ago was 85%. It was 4 generations removed from a fur farm called Davidson Furs. Not saying he was an F4. He was just bred 4 times away from the fur farm. Davidson lineage was very special. There's only one breeder out there right now that has this lineage still, which is amazing because these farms were shut down decades ago. But I started with an 85%er. I got another 85%er. Then I got a 95 pluser. And then Rosemary, a 95 pluser. There is no low content that could have gotten me prepared for the intensity of a high content animal. My background before wolf dog ownership, I was raised with German Shepherds. And then as an adult, I raised pit bulls for 20 years. And my last pit bull was alive when I got my first wolf dog. So that is my opinion. And a lot of people are going to say, you got to start with a low content and work yourself up. No, I don't believe that at all. There's no dog that has 10, 15, 20, 20, 25, 30% wolf in it that's going to get you ready for an animal like Rosemary. It's not going to happen. It's going to get you ready for a northern breed. Do I walk her? Yes, Ray. We get out there every single day. We start our day with a 3-mile walk in the woods. We live wooded. I have 28 miles of hiking trails right where I live, and we get out there every morning. If for some reason, because of thunderstorms or something, we can't make it on a walk, like our whole day is thrown off. I watch the weather, I watch the radar, because that's a very important part of our day. And then she also goes places. Like yesterday, she went and did socialization just at PetSmart, but she met a lot of people. I do mini presentations, hand out business cards. She interacts with children and humans and other dogs, which is really good for her. Next weekend, she's doing a private event, a birthday party for a little girl that we met at a large presentation we did at a park. They have contacted us to be at a birthday party. When people don't sell breeding rights, how can you ensure they aren't ever bred? So that's a really good question. So you got to the breeder has to keep tabs on the buyer, okay? And you got to watch them. And unfortunately, sometimes a buyer will like block a breeder on social media or something like that because they're shady. A good vetting process from a breeder to sell, he or she's got to be able to trust the buyer that they are going to follow the contract. I did not buy breeding rights. I am not a breeder. Rosemary would have been a phenomenal animal to breed, but I am not a breeder. And I spayed her at 17 months old, and so I was trusted. So a good breeder isn't going to sell an animal to someone they can't trust. Now, if they breach the contract and they breed, and there's a situation right now where somebody bred this 1-year-old, they can take that person to court and they will win. So, hey, Christy, thanks for joining. We're just about to end. We're having cappuccino with Rosemary this morning. So does anybody have any? Hey, Rosemary, Auntie Christy says hi. A lot of people from Virginia have chimed in today, which is awesome. Thank you. Thank you for what you do with the wolf dog. Thank you, Ray. This is definitely a passion in my heart. And I'm getting to the point here pretty soon where I'll be able to do Guardians of the Wolves full time. And not work and do Guardians of the Wolves, because that's like having 2 full-time jobs. So this is my passion. These animals are my passion. And education of wolf dogs and rescuing wolf dogs is my passion. And advocacy for wolves in the wild, conservation, preservation, through education. Because there's a lot going on in the wild right now. And real quick, and then I'll go. Yellowstone, wolves are supposed to be protected. Well, 218 wolves were lured out of Yellowstone this last season and killed. Some of them were collared. If any of you watched the show Yellowstone, I loved the series myself. I'm really sad that it ended. But there is an episode, I think, in season 5 where it shows some of the Yellowstone ranchers had a dead horse. They shot, it got injured when they were out, and then they went back at night with night vision and scopes and whatnot, and they kept the dead carcass there because it would attract the wolves, and they shot the wolves, and they ended up being collared wolves, Yellowstone collared wolves. And they hid this and everything. It was completely against the law, but hands down props to Paramount for showing that, because that's reality of what's happening in the wild. So remember something, extinction is forever. Wolves play a vital role in our ecosystem. They are at the top of the chain as an apex predator, and they play a vital role. And if you have 4 minutes, go on YouTube and search how wolves changed rivers, and it will show you what happened to Yellowstone when wolves were eradicated and what happened when they were reintroduced, and how Yellowstone looks today because of the reintroduction. It got overgrazed by elk and deer, and it turned brown, and the river stopped flowing, and there was no more beavers, and it was a nightmare for ecology. And once wolves were reintroduced, Yellowstone is a magnificent place again. Thank you, William. I love wolves too. going to have to talk about that when I do my presentation with Maya at the event. Yes, Christy, I am so excited for your event. And also, um, you know, about them luring the wolves, Christy, the governor of Montana, he is one of the people that did this a couple of years ago, and he got a slap on the hand for it, and nothing happened. So, it starts at the top and it works its way down, and that was a shame. I can also send you, if you just want to like take some notes from it, my presentation. You might want to pick out some things about the fur farms or Montana. I talk a lot about Montana in it, and about people grazing cattle on public lands and what's happening and whatnot. Um, it is so crazy, and let's take Wisconsin. A couple of years ago as an example. They issued permits to kill X amount of wolves. I think 200 and something of them. Well, the hunters in Wisconsin exceeded that by 300% in the first 72 hours, and nothing happened. So right now there's a huge campaign, relistwolves.org. We are a huge supporter of them. Because, like I said, extinction is forever. And until we have wolves in all of the lower 48 states, they have not made a recovery. And real quick, what is your work name? My name is Lori, and I'm the founder of Guardians of the Wolves. Oh yeah, I heard about the cattle stuff. I just need to type some notes up. Yep, and I heard all about Wisconsin. Yeah, I know you know. What's the story here? Where exactly? Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Target Man. So we're going to sign off. Again, check out our website, guardiansofthewolves.org. There's a lot of information about Project Wolf Tracks, and our GoFundMe's there. And if you'd like to be one of the first to lay your tracks down, there's going to be some special things happening for donors. And like I said, if everyone on here donated $1, we have 120 something thousand followers. That puts us well on our way to this land acquisition. So everybody, we wish you a great Sunday. Thank you so much for joining. We'll try to do this. Hands up, Christy. I love you, girl. You're my sister. Thank you, and we just wish you a great day. And we'll start doing more lives. And it's important to get the word out there about what's happening with wolves and conservation, preservation, and wolf dog education and responsible ownership. Because being on the rescue side of it, we see some pretty horrible things, and we'd like to teach you responsible ownership for you to have a good experience, and first and foremost for these animals. Bye, Rosemary and Lori. Love you all. We love you, Christy. Thank you, sweet blue eyes. God bless you. Thank you. And we'll give Rosemary a hug right now for you. Rosemary, do you think you could finish this with a howl? You want to do a howl? Ow! 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 Good girl. So that was Rosemary saying goodbye and happy Sunday. And yeah, Christy, she did say like this. We love you guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great day. She's obviously not done yet.